Hello, guys. It's been a while since we spoke here in this platform. I hope everyone is good and everything is just on point. So you might notice that I've dimmed a light a little bit. I don't want the nose to distract you. It hasn't really healed 100%, but it's work in progress. It's promising. It's just a small dot. And then somebody asked me today, and like, Pastor X, what happened? Did you fall or anything? And then I realized, wow, I'll have to do something about it. So that's why I dimmed the light a little bit, but I believe that you can still see me. And, I had to work the technology, and the light shines a little bit on the nose. All right, quickly, what I want to talk about today is marriage conflict management. It's something that we tend to know about, but we don't really look into the seriousness of it. And sometimes we find ourselves in that conflict without even knowing how we got into it. Now, there are a few things that I just want to highlight as far as conflict is concerned, in a relationship or in marriage for that matter. One of the things that I want us to understand is that conflict is inevitable in a relationship, because you meet somebody, you both have Amazinho I-32, you have different backgrounds, you were raised by different people, some of you were even raised in different locations, geographically. And you meet probably at varsity, you meet wherever. I know of couples that met at a tuck shop. So you could meet anywhere. And now you have to build together with this person. You have different views of life and different experiences. So conflict is bound to happen. Now, conflict will always happen when different views, opinions, values, needs, wants, principles, dreams, and desires start to clash. Okay? And in most cases, you'd find that it's people who never either had premarital counseling, or it's people who never sat down and intentionally discussed the issues that they could have in terms of their standpoint on certain issues. Obviously, you can't talk about everything, but there are basic things that you need to talk about where you have a fundamental understanding on those things. Okay, so now the minute there is a bit of a clash on those things, and then you will find a little bit of a conflict. Now, conflict will vary. Sometimes you will find a mild conflict that comes from a misunderstanding, small misunderstanding, and you will have like huge conflict where people are just like saying things they even regret the following day, or they really mean, or others, those that are immature a little bit, they even hold each other like about Jackie Chan, about Bruce Lee and Sylvester Stallone, all those things. So it depends, at what stage you are in your marriage, and how you relate, and how you have managed to blend in together, and then it will determine, the severity of that conflict. But another thing is, obviously, conflict has got pros and cons. There are good conflicts, there are bad conflicts. I'll talk about it as I wrap up. But the minute a conflict now start occurring all the time, and then it means that there are some hidden issues to it. That's where you need now me, that we can be able to check the root of it and be able to understand where is it, coming from, and are you guys even compatible enough? Because you can't have the conflict every day, or every second day, or every week for that matter. If you have a conflict today, it's a Friday, you need a breather of at least another week or two, because of the psychological calmness out of the previous conflict that you have had. So when one or both of you feel discomfort with any aspect of the relationship, and then you are bound to have the conflict. So if I start, noticing things that I want to raise, or even I'm raising them and I feel good, you are not taking them with the same breath and the same spirit that I'm taking them, we are bound to have a conflict between the two of us. So sometimes it might come from one side, it might come from another side. Some relationships, it's always coming from one side. That also should be something that raises a red flag of saying, is there anything I'm missing from my partner? If my partner all the time will always be, having some issues and some conflicts around the things that I do. Is it me, or is it just my partner not getting me? All right. So you need to monitor and assess that. Where is it coming from? How is it coming? And how is it communicated also? So unmet needs and expectations will definitely result in a conflict. Now, these needs, in most cases, you might find that it's needs that have never been communicated before, even expectations that have never been communicated before. And what is needed at that point is that you need to, pull back, sit down, and you look at potential, disastrous situations, cases that you can be able to look into and be able. It's better for you to deal with, preempt, and be proactive and deal with these issues before they happen. Because when they happen, the emotions are high. It's difficult now to deal with them rationally, and also the common sense, flies out of the window. Oh, that's why I'm looking this side. My office window is this side. So yeah, so it flies out of the window, and then there is no sense that anyone meets and anyone would make out of that. So when one wants something and another is not willing or unable, for that matter, to deliver, there will be conflict. Sometimes you might find that your partner is not willing or is unable to deliver because your expectations are way too high. One of the examples I made was that you can't expect your partner who's got a matric to write a thesis, on something, anything for that matter, because their intellectual level is not there. So when you expect your partner, even financially, to be able to give you a home or a lifestyle of somebody who earns 100,000 while your partner only earns 10,000, there will be a problem there. So those kind of things. Also, if you're expecting your partner to deliver, 5 rounds a night, and your partner is only able to deliver only 1 round or no round at all, there will be a problem there. And then the minute that happens, resentment starts building up. Accusation starts flying all over the place, and then bitterness, starts cropping up. You start seeing signs of bitterness. People start saying things that they don't really, mean, or things that are a little bit, distasteful, and unruly tongue always results in that destructive into conflict, where you start now saying things intentionally to hurt your partner or unintentionally to hurt your partner. But any harsh tongue, and a tongue that is more attacking towards your partner without dealing with the problem, will always result into a conflict. And sometimes you'd find that conflict will, erupt out of comparison, where you compare your partner with your ex, or you compare your partner with any of your parents, for that matter, or your siblings. Like, no, my sister does this better. And then there will be a bit of a conflict. You'll start hearing people saying, then why don't you go to your sister, or why don't you let your ex do that and that and that for you? So the negative, like I said earlier on, and positive consequences into the conflict. The negative consequences, I think we all know them. It's when now you start feeling frustrated. You start feeling a lot of pain, and you start feeling hurt. You start feeling a sense of neglect, and you feel that your partner doesn't love you anymore. Your partner doesn't care about you. And all these things, they come together and they start making you feeling so overwhelmed by everything now that happens. So those are the negative consequences of any conflict. But you also find that people will have withdrawal symptoms. You know, your partner will start withdrawing, pulling out, and they show a lot of, you know, distance, anxiety, aggression, physical handling that I mentioned. And this now, it spreads from within to affecting your partner and to affecting those around you. Your kids get affected, your helper, your parents get affected. Everyone now is affected by this. So it becomes a bit of now a problem when that happens, because now, even if you can resolve it as a couple, but you still have these people that are affected by it who still have to go through the process of accepting that this thing has happened, okay? Even your friends now are affected by everything. But the constructive outcomes is that it will build your trust, build your confidence, it build a stronger bond between the two of you, depending on each other more and more and more, because the minute it becomes like a step ladder, because the minute you resolve one conflict maturely and in an open manner, it creates even more and wider channels of communication between the two of you. Better understanding and appreciation of each other. It makes life so much easier. I hope this helps you, and I hope it's something that you can be able to look at your relationship and say, how can you be able to do things in your relationship? God bless you, and make sure that you subscribe to this channel, and we will talk again.